Ever feel awkward in conversations, struggle to keep them going, or just don't know what to say? You're not alone. We've all been there, standing in a conversation, overthinking every word, wondering if we sound weird, and praying for an escape plan. But don't worry. Today I'm going to teach you exactly how to talk to anyone with confidence, whether it's a stranger, a coworker, or someone you want to impress. We'll cover everything from building confidence, mastering body language, and asking the right questions to keeping the conversation flowing and avoiding awkward silences. And the best part? You don't need to be super outgoing or naturally charismatic to do this. It's all about a few simple techniques that anyone can learn. And make sure you stick around until the end, because I've got one game-changing tip that most people don't know. Seriously, this one will transform the way you talk to people. Let's get started. Let's start with the foundation of talking to anyone. Confidence. The way you feel about yourself and your ability to hold a conversation plays a massive role in how people perceive and respond to you. Have you ever noticed that the most charismatic people in a room aren't necessarily the best looking, the smartest, or the funniest? They just carry themselves with confidence. They believe in what they're saying, and because of that, others do too. Confidence makes conversations smoother and more enjoyable. When you feel good about yourself, you naturally project positive energy, making people feel comfortable around you. Think about it. Who would you rather talk to? Someone who seems nervous, second-guesses themselves, and avoids eye contact? Or someone who speaks with certainty, looks relaxed, and makes you feel at ease? People naturally gravitate toward confidence because it signals trustworthiness, competence, and likability. Even if you're unsure of yourself in the moment, how you carry yourself can completely change the way people react to you. A big reason people struggle with talking to others is social anxiety. The fear of being judged, embarrassing themselves, or saying something wrong. If you've ever left a conversation overanalyzing every little thing you said, you know exactly what I mean. But here's the truth. Most people are way too caught up in their own thoughts to be scrutinizing yours. Think about the last time you saw someone trip on the sidewalk or say something slightly awkward in a conversation. Did you spend the rest of your day obsessing over it? Probably not. The same applies to you. People aren't analyzing your every move because they're too busy worrying about themselves. This phenomenon is called the spotlight effect. We believe people are noticing every little detail about us when in reality, they're barely paying attention. Reframing your mindset is key. Instead of assuming people are judging you, shift your focus to being present and enjoying the conversation. Rather than thinking, what if I say something dumb? Try, how can I make this person feel comfortable? When you take the pressure off yourself, conversations become a lot less intimidating and a lot more natural. Your mind believes what you repeatedly tell it. If you constantly think, I'm awkward, I'm bad at talking to people, guess what? Your brain will look for evidence to support that belief. But if you start telling yourself, I'm confident, I'm good at making connections, your brain will work to reinforce that too. This is the power of self-talk and visualization. Before you walk into a social setting, take a moment to visualize yourself having a smooth and engaging conversation. Picture yourself relaxed, smiling, and connecting with others effortlessly. Your brain doesn't always distinguish between imagination and reality, so mentally rehearsing positive interactions can train your mind to be more comfortable in real ones. Another powerful trick? Affirmations. It might sound cheesy, but standing in front of a mirror and saying things like, I am confident. People enjoy talking to me. I bring good energy into conversations. Actually helps rewire your mindset. Many successful people, from athletes to public speakers, use this technique to prime their brains for success. Here's a game-changing secret. Confidence isn't something you wait to feel before you act. It's something you develop by acting confident first. This is called the as-if principle. Your brain takes cues from your body. If you stand tall, make eye contact, and speak with a steady voice, your brain starts believing, hey, I must be confident, and adjusts your emotions accordingly. Even if you don't feel 100% sure of yourself, act as if you do. Walk into a conversation with good posture, a relaxed expression, and a mindset that says, I'm supposed to be here. When you do this enough times, it becomes second nature, and before you know it, you'll actually feel confident in conversations, not just fake it. So next time you're about to start a conversation, take a deep breath, straighten your shoulders, and tell yourself, I got this. Because the truth is, you do. Confidence is a skill, and like any skill, the more you practice it, the better you become. Next up, we're going to talk about the first impression you make. Because before you even say a word, your body language and energy are already speaking for you. Stay with me, because this next part is a game changer. Before you even say a word, your body language and energy are already making an impression. In fact, studies show that up to 93% of communication is nonverbal, meaning how you carry yourself can have a bigger impact than what you actually say. People make snap judgments within the first few seconds of meeting someone, and those first few seconds set the tone for the rest of the interaction. Imagine two people walking into a room. One person enters with a straight posture, makes eye contact, and offers a warm smile. The other slouches, keeps their head down, and looks preoccupied. Who would you feel more comfortable approaching? Exactly. People naturally respond to confidence and warmth, and your body language is the first thing they notice. Let's break down the key elements of strong body language that instantly make you more approachable, engaging, and confident in conversations. Eye contact is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to establish trust and connection in a conversation. It signals confidence, attentiveness, and sincerity. But here's the tricky part. Too much eye contact can feel intense or intimidating, while too little can make you seem distracted or uninterested. The key? Balanced eye contact. When speaking, try to hold eye contact for about 3 to 5 seconds at a time before briefly glancing away. When listening, maintain steady eye contact to show you're engaged. If direct eye contact feels too intense, a good trick is to look between the person's eyes or at the bridge of their nose. It has the same effect without feeling awkward. If you tend to avoid eye contact out of nervousness, practice by making brief eye contact with people in everyday situations. The barista at the coffee shop, the cashier at the grocery store, or a coworker in the hallway. The more you do it, the more natural it will feel. Your posture speaks volumes. People with open, relaxed postures come across as warm and self-assured, while those with closed-off body language, like crossing arms or hunching over, can seem uninterested or defensive. What does good posture look like? Stand or sit upright with your shoulders back, but not stiff. Keep your chest open. This signals confidence and approachability. Avoid crossing your arms. It can make you look closed off or even defensive. If you're not sure what to do with your hands, keep them relaxed at your sides or use subtle hand gestures when speaking. Never underestimate the power of a genuine smile. It makes you instantly more likable and approachable. When you smile at someone, they're more likely to smile back. It's a psychological phenomenon called mirror neurons in action. But there's a big difference between a forced, awkward smile and a natural, warm smile. A real smile reaches your eyes, often called a Duchenne smile. If you struggle with forced smiles, think of something that genuinely makes you happy or amused. It helps bring out a natural warmth in your expression. One of the best ways to instantly build rapport with someone is by matching their energy, also known as mirroring. People naturally feel more comfortable around those who reflect their own body language, tone, and level of enthusiasm. Here's how it works. If someone is calm and speaks softly, lowering your energy slightly to match theirs makes them feel at ease. If they're high energy and expressive, being too quiet or reserved might create a disconnect, so step up your enthusiasm to meet theirs, but be careful not to overdo it. Mirroring should feel natural and subtle, not forced or exaggerated. If someone gestures a lot when they talk, you don't need to copy every movement. Just being a bit more expressive than usual can help create a sense of synchronicity in the conversation. A good way to test if you're mirroring naturally is to observe how they respond. If they seem comfortable and engaged, you're doing it right. If they look confused or uncomfortable, you might be over-mirroring or trying too hard to match them. Even if you feel nervous in a conversation, there are a few bad habits you should avoid because they make you look more anxious than you actually are. These small behaviors can subconsciously send the wrong message and make people feel like you're uninterested or uncomfortable. Fidgeting, whether it's tapping your fingers, bouncing your leg, or playing with your clothes, gives off nervous energy and can be distracting to the person you're talking to. The best way to stop fidgeting is to be aware of it. If you tend to fidget, Try keeping your hands gently clasped together or using slow, deliberate hand gestures when speaking. If you feel the urge to fidget, take a deep breath and focus on being still and present. Nothing kills a conversation faster than checking your phone mid-conversation. Even a quick glance can make the other person feel unimportant or ignored. If you're serious about making a great impression, keep your phone out of sight and give the person your full attention. If you absolutely must check your phone, for example, if you're waiting for an important message, acknowledge it. Say something like, "Sorry, I just need to check this real quick, but I'm listening." This small gesture shows respect for the other person's time and attention. Crossing your arms can feel comfortable, but it can also send the wrong message. It makes you look closed off, defensive, or uninterested. Instead, keep your arms relaxed at your sides, or use them naturally when speaking. Your body language and energy set the tone for how people interact with you. If you appear open, confident, and engaged, others will naturally feel more comfortable around you. If you look closed off, distracted, or nervous, it creates a barrier in the conversation. The best part? You can control how you present yourself. Even if you don't feel 100% confident, adjusting your body language can trick your brain into feeling more confident. And over time, it will become second nature. Next up, let's talk about the actual words you say, because starting a conversation is often the hardest part. I'm going to give you some foolproof ways to break the ice and start talking to anyone, anywhere. Stay tuned. Starting a conversation can feel like the most intimidating part of social interaction. You might worry about saying the wrong thing, sounding awkward, or worse, being met with silence. But here's the truth. Starting a conversation doesn't have to be complicated. Most people aren't expecting a mind-blowing opener. They just want to feel comfortable and engaged. The key to effortlessly starting a conversation is to keep it simple and focus on making the other person feel at ease. Whether you're meeting someone new, reconnecting with an acquaintance, or trying to break the ice in a social setting, having a few go-to conversation starters can make all the difference. Let's break down some foolproof ways to start a conversation. Ones that feel natural, easy, and most importantly, effective. Sometimes the best way to start a conversation is also the most obvious. A simple, friendly greeting like, "Hey, how's your day going?" is one of the most natural ways to initiate a conversation. It's low pressure, open-ended, and immediately invites a response. Why does this work so well? It's universal. You can use it with anyone, anywhere. It opens the door for deeper conversation. The other person might mention something interesting about their day, giving you a natural opportunity to continue the dialogue. It feels warm and familiar. People are more likely to engage when they feel comfortable. A few variations you can try. "Hey, how's your day been so far? What's been the highlight of your day? How's your morning, afternoon, evening going?" The key to making a simple greeting work is your tone. More on that in a moment. If you say it with enthusiasm and genuine curiosity, the other person will be more likely to engage. If you say it flatly or without making eye contact, it can feel forced or robotic. If the person responds with a short answer like, "Good, don't panic," you can follow up with something like, "Nice, anything exciting happening today? Awesome, what's been the best part so far?" This naturally encourages them to expand on their answer, keeping the conversation going. One of the easiest ways to start a conversation without it feeling forced is to make an observational comment about your shared environment. This works especially well in casual or public settings where there's something interesting happening around you. For example, at a coffee shop. "That coffee smells amazing. Where'd you get it?" "At a party." "Wow, this playlist is really good. Do you know who made it?" "At a bookstore. I've heard great things about that book. Have you read anything else by that author?" "At the gym. That workout looks intense. Have you done it before?" Why do observational comments work so well? They feel natural and unforced. Instead of using a generic line, you're making a comment that fits the moment. They create an immediate talking point. If you comment on something relevant, the person can easily respond and add their own thoughts. They don't require deep thinking. Unlike complex conversation starters, observational comments feel effortless and spontaneous. The trick is to pay attention to your surroundings and look for small, interesting details to comment on. The best observational comments are positive, lighthearted, and easy to respond to. Avoid making negative remarks, e.g., This place is way too crowded, because they can create an awkward energy. A well-placed compliment is one of the most powerful ways to start a conversation because people love feeling appreciated. But the key is to compliment something specific that can lead to a natural follow-up question. For example, instead of nice jacket, say, that's a really cool jacket. Where'd you get it? Instead of love your shoes, say, those sneakers are awesome. Are they comfortable? Instead of great haircut, say, your hair looks great. Who cuts it for you? See the difference? By adding a follow-up question, you're giving the other person something to respond to, which keeps the conversation flowing. Compliment-based conversation starters work particularly well because they make the other person feel good. A genuine compliment instantly creates a positive interaction. They open up an easy conversation thread. The person might tell you where they got their jacket, which could lead to a discussion about shopping, fashion, or personal style. They feel authentic. Unlike generic icebreakers, specific compliments show that you're paying attention and genuinely appreciate something about the person. The key to making compliments work is being sincere. People can tell when a compliment is forced or insincere, so only comment on things you genuinely appreciate. No matter what conversation starter you use, the way you deliver it is just as important, if not more important, than the words themselves. A warm and friendly tone can make even the simplest greeting feel engaging, while a dull or robotic tone can make the most interesting comment fall flat. Here's how to instantly make your tone more inviting. Smile as you speak. Smiling naturally changes your tone, making you sound more approachable. Use an open and relaxed voice. Avoid sounding too tense or rushed. Speak in a way that feels natural and easygoing. Show genuine interest. People can tell when you're just going through the motions. If you sound genuinely curious about what the other person has to say, they'll be more likely to engage with you. Match the setting. If you're in a quiet setting, you don't need to be overly loud or energetic. If you're in a lively setting, bringing a little extra enthusiasm can help match the vibe. A warm tone makes the other person feel safe and comfortable, which encourages them to open up and enjoy the conversation. Starting a conversation isn't about saying something groundbreaking. It's about breaking the silence and setting the stage for a great interaction. Once you start talking, the conversation can naturally flow into deeper and more meaningful topics. The best way to get better at starting conversations. Practice. Try using these conversation starters in everyday situations, at the grocery store, in an elevator, at work, or at social events. The more you do it, the more natural it will feel. And once you've started the conversation, the next challenge is keeping it going, which is exactly what we'll cover next. Stick around because I'm going to teach you the best strategies for making conversations flow effortlessly so you never run out of things to say. So, you've successfully started a conversation. Great. But now comes the part that many people struggle with. Keeping it going without awkward silences or the dreaded one-word answers. If you've ever found yourself in a conversation that fizzled out after a few minutes, don't worry. It's not because you're boring or bad at talking. The secret to keeping conversations alive and engaging isn't about being the most entertaining person in the room. It's about knowing how to guide the conversation in a way that feels natural and effortless. The good news? There are a few simple techniques that can help you keep the momentum going, encourage deeper conversations, and make you a more engaging conversationalist without forcing anything. Let's break it down. One of the fastest ways to kill a conversation is by asking yes, no, or one-word answer questions that don't give the other person much to work with. Instead, you want to use open-ended questions, ones that invite the person to share more details, thoughts, or stories. For example, compare these two types of questions. Closed-ended. Did you have a good day? Answer, yeah, it was good. End of conversation. Open-ended. What's been the best part of your day so far? Answer, oh, actually, I had a really good coffee this morning and it made my whole day better. Now you have something to respond to. Some great open-ended conversation starters include, what's something cool or unexpected that happened today? What's been keeping you busy lately? What's something you're really enjoying right now? This could be a book, a show, a hobby, etc. The key here is that open-ended questions lead to storytelling, And storytelling is what makes conversations interesting and memorable. A little tip: listen for hooks in their response, things that you can ask about further. For example, if they say, "Oh, my day's been great. I just started learning how to play the guitar," you now have a natural follow up. "That's awesome. What made you want to start playing?" "Nice. Are you teaching yourself or are you taking lessons?" Each response leads to more opportunities to keep the conversation flowing naturally. If you ever feel stuck and don't know what to talk about, the FORD method is your secret weapon. It's an easy framework that helps you steer the conversation toward topics that people actually enjoy talking about. FORD stands for F, family, asking about family, relationships, or background. Do you have any siblings? Where did you grow up? Do you still have family in your hometown? O, occupation, talking about work, studies, or career interests. What do you do for work? How did you get into that field? What's your favorite thing about your job? R, recreation, discussing hobbies, interests, and passions. What do you like to do for fun? Are you into any sports or creative hobbies? Have you picked up any new hobbies recently? D, dreams, exploring goals, aspirations, or future plans. What's something you've always wanted to try? If you could travel anywhere right now, where would you go? What's a goal you're working on right now? The beauty of the Ford method is that it covers topics that almost everyone has something to say about, and it helps you learn more about the other person in an engaging way. The trick is to pay attention to their level of interest in each topic. If someone lights up when talking about their favorite hobby, keep the conversation there. If they seem unenthusiastic about work, move on to something else. The goal is to find topics that energize the conversation, not force it. A common mistake people make when trying to keep a conversation going is talking too much. They feel like they need to fill every silence or entertain the other person by constantly sharing their own thoughts. But the best conversationalists aren't the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who know how to listen. The 70-30 rule is simple. Listen 70% of the time. Focus on what the other person is saying. Absorb their words and react thoughtfully. Talk 30% of the time. Share your own thoughts, stories, and responses in a way that keeps the balance. People love to feel heard and understood, and when you give them space to express themselves, they'll enjoy talking to you more. A few ways to show you're actively listening. Nod and give small verbal affirmations. "That's interesting." "No way! Tell me more about that." Paraphrase what they said to show you're engaged. "So you started traveling because of a work opportunity? That's awesome." Ask follow-up questions to dig deeper. "How did you first get interested in that?" When you focus on listening rather than just waiting for your turn to speak, you'll find that conversations feel much more natural and enjoyable. Have you ever noticed that when you're around certain people, you start to pick up on their energy? Maybe you talk a little faster when they do, or you become more expressive if they're animated. This is called mirroring, and it's a powerful tool for building instant connection and rapport in conversations. Mirroring is the subtle act of matching the other person's tone, body language, and energy level to create a sense of harmony. It's not about copying them outright, which would be weird, but rather about subtly aligning with their vibe to make them feel more comfortable. Here's how to do it naturally. Match their speaking pace. If they speak fast, speed up slightly. If they're more relaxed and measured, slow down a bit. Reflect their enthusiasm level. If they're excited about something, match their energy. If they're more chill, keep your tone easygoing. Use similar gestures and posture. If they're leaning in and engaged, do the same. If they're using hand gestures, allow yourself to be a bit more expressive too. Why does mirroring work? Because people naturally feel more at ease with those who feel familiar to them. It creates an unspoken sense of, we're on the same wavelength, which makes the conversation flow effortlessly. The best conversations aren't one-sided. They're a back-and-forth exchange where both people contribute equally. Think of it like a game of ping pong. You serve the ball, ask a question. They hit it back, give a response, and you keep the rally going by responding with curiosity, enthusiasm, and thoughtful follow-ups. Mastering the art of keeping a conversation going isn't about being the most interesting person in the room. It's about being interested in the person you're talking to. If you practice using open-ended questions, the FORD method, the 70-30 rule, and mirroring, you'll find that conversations become smoother, more engaging, and even enjoyable. And now that you know how to keep a conversation flowing, let's tackle something everyone dreads: awkward silences. Up next, I'm going to show you exactly how to handle those moments so they never derail your conversations again. We've all been there. You're in the middle of a conversation, and suddenly, the momentum slows down. The words stop flowing, and the dreaded awkward silence creeps in. Your brain races, trying to think of something, anything to say, but the longer the pause lasts, the more uncomfortable it feels. First things first, don't panic. Silences in conversations are completely normal. In fact, they're a natural part of human interaction. The idea that every conversation needs to be a continuous stream of words is a myth. Think about how often you have quiet moments with close friends or family. It doesn't feel awkward because you're comfortable with each other. The same logic applies to conversations with new people. That being said, there's a difference between comfortable silence and the kind of silence that makes both people feel uneasy. The key is knowing how to handle those pauses gracefully so that they don't derail the conversation. Let's break down some simple, effective strategies to avoid awkward silences and keep the conversation flowing effortlessly. The first mistake most people make when they hit a silence in conversation is freaking out internally. Their brain goes into overdrive, thinking things like, "Oh no, they're bored. This is so awkward. What do I say?" They probably think I'm terrible at talking. But here's the reality. Most people don't mind a short pause. In fact, sometimes a brief silence gives both of you a moment to process what's been said and naturally transition to the next topic. Instead of panicking, embrace the pause with confidence. A few things to keep in mind. Take a deep breath and relax. If you look tense, the other person will pick up on it. Use body language to stay engaged. Nodding, making eye contact, and smiling reassures the other person that the conversation is still in a good place. Let them fill the silence sometimes. You don't always have to be the one to restart the conversation. Giving the other person space to speak can actually encourage them to contribute more. Once you stop seeing silence as a problem, you'll start to notice that it doesn't feel nearly as awkward as you thought. One of the best ways to prevent awkward silences before they even happen is to have a few go-to topics ready in your mind. These are subjects that are easy to bring up and relevant to most people, making them perfect for reviving a stalled conversation. Some great go-to topics include: bringing up something happening in the world is a natural way to restart a conversation, but be careful to avoid overly heavy or controversial topics unless you know the person well. Instead, try: did you hear about a cool scientific discovery, tech advancement, or fun world record? I just read that they're making a live-action remake of popular movie. What do you think about that? There's been a lot of talk about interesting pop culture moment. Have you been following it? People love talking about what they're passionate about, so shifting the focus to hobbies is an easy way to keep the conversation alive. So when you're not working, studying, what do you love doing? Have you picked up any new hobbies lately? If you had a free weekend to do anything, how would you spend it? This works because it encourages the other person to talk about something they actually enjoy, which instantly makes the conversation more engaging. Pop culture is a goldmine for conversation starters because most people have at least one area they're interested in, whether it's movies, music, TV shows, or books. Have you seen popular new movie or show? What did you think? What's a show you've been binge watching lately? I'm always looking for new music. Got any recommendations? These questions work even if the other person says no, because you can follow up with, "Oh, you don't watch much TV? What do you do for fun instead? Not into that genre? What's your favorite type of movie?" Having these go-to topics makes it easy to pivot whenever a silence starts creeping in. One of the easiest ways to break tension in a conversation is with a little bit of humor or lightheartedness. If a silence lingers too long, sometimes calling attention to it in a playful way can reset the mood and make everyone feel more at ease. For example, well, that was a dramatic pause. I feel like we're in a movie scene right now. Wow, we just had an award-winning awkward silence. 10 out of 10 performance. Okay, I think we both just ran out of words at the same time. Let's refresh. Tell me something completely random. Humor works because it takes the pressure off the silence and turns it into something funny instead of uncomfortable. It also shows confidence, which helps the other person relax and continue the conversation in a more natural way. If humor isn't your thing, even a simple lighthearted question can bring the conversation back to life. Okay, I have to ask. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? By the way, what's the most random fact you know? These kinds of fun, playful questions reset the conversation and make it more engaging. If all else fails, this question is one of the best conversation savers because it gives the other person a chance to share something exciting about their life. Works in any situation, whether you're talking to a friend, coworker, or stranger. Encourages storytelling, which is the backbone of great conversations. Variations of this include, tell me about something fun you did recently. What's the last thing you did that made you really happy? What's something cool you're looking forward to? This question works because it makes people think about positive experiences, which immediately improves the vibe of the conversation. At the end of the day, awkward silences only feel awkward if you treat them that way. The more comfortable you get with pausing without panic, having go-to topics, using humor, and asking engaging questions, the easier it becomes to keep any conversation flowing naturally. And now that we've tackled how to handle silences, let's move on to the next essential skill: how to smoothly end a conversation without it feeling weird or forced. Because knowing how to wrap things up is just as important as knowing how to start. Stick around. Starting and keeping a conversation going are essential skills, but knowing how to end a conversation smoothly is just as important. We've all experienced that awkward moment when a conversation has run its course, but we're not sure how to gracefully exit without it feeling abrupt or uncomfortable. Ending a conversation the right way ensures that both you and the other person leave on a positive note. Whether you're chatting with a coworker, making small talk at an event, or having a deep conversation with someone new, the way you end the interaction will shape their final impression of you. Let's go over some simple, effective strategies to wrap up conversations naturally, so you never feel stuck in a social interaction longer than necessary. A conversation is like a great song. It should have a natural rhythm and end at the right time. The key to exiting smoothly is being able to recognize when the conversation is naturally winding down, rather than forcing an abrupt exit. Some signs that it's a good time to end the conversation. The conversation has slowed down, and there are more frequent pauses. You've reached a natural conclusion. For example, after finishing a story or discussing a specific topic. The other person starts glancing around, checking their phone, or shifting their body language, signaling they might be ready to move on. The environment suggests a transition, like a networking event where people are mingling, or a casual chat where it's time to leave. Instead of dragging the conversation out, recognize these signals and exit smoothly before it starts feeling forced. A well-timed goodbye feels natural and effortless, while an overstayed conversation can make things awkward. Once you've identified a natural stopping point, the next step is to close the conversation politely and confidently. The key here is to make the exit feel positive and effortless, rather than abrupt or dismissive. Here are some great exit lines you can use. Casual and friendly exits. Hey, it was really great catching up. Let's do this again soon. I've really enjoyed talking with you, but I should get going. Hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll let you get back to what you were doing, but it was awesome meeting you. These lines are warm, appreciative, and don't make the other person feel like they're being cut off. If you're in a casual social setting, a quick handshake, wave, or smile can reinforce a friendly goodbye. Event or networking exits. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I really enjoyed our conversation. I want to say hi to a few more people before I go, but it was great talking with you. It's been great meeting you. I'd love to stay in touch. Let's exchange contacts before I go. These work particularly well at networking events, conferences, or social gatherings where people naturally expect conversations to be short and fluid. If someone is talking too much and you need an escape, I hate to cut this short, but I need to meet up with someone, finish something up, head out. This has been great, but I should let you go. I don't want to keep you too long. I'm going to grab another drink or step outside for a bit. But it was great chatting with you. These are polite ways to exit when the other person isn't picking up on cues that the conversation should end. By framing it as you being considerate of their time, it doesn't feel like a rejection. It feels natural. If you've had a great conversation and want to stay in touch, don't be afraid to exchange contact information before ending the interaction. This is especially useful in networking or professional settings where staying connected can lead to opportunities. Social settings where you've met someone with shared interests. Situations where you genuinely want to continue the conversation at another time. Some smooth ways to bring this up. Hey, I'd love to stay in touch. Are you on LinkedIn, Instagram, etc.? This was a great chat. If you're ever free for coffee, let's connect. What's the best way to reach you? We should definitely continue this conversation sometime. Do you want to swap numbers? If exchanging numbers or social media feels too forward, a lighter alternative is, hey, do you have any recommendations for Book Show podcast? I'd love to check it out. Maybe I can follow up with you about it later. This makes the exchange feel more natural and purpose-driven, rather than random or forced. However, if you don't feel the need to stay in touch, don't feel pressured to ask for contact info. A simple warm goodbye is perfectly fine. The way you leave a conversation is just as important as how you start it. Even if the conversation was brief, ending on a high note ensures that the person remembers you positively. Leave with a smile and warm energy. Your final expression and body language stick with people, so even a simple smile makes a difference. Show appreciation. Saying, I really enjoyed this conversation makes the other person feel valued. If relevant, mention a follow-up. I'll check out that book you recommended. Or, I'll send you that article we talked about. This keeps the connection open. Confidence is key. A confident exit makes the entire conversation feel smooth and effortless. Even if you were nervous, own your goodbye with ease. If you want to leave an even stronger impression, you can add something personal that references your conversation. Hey, have fun on your trip next week. Can't wait to hear about it next time we chat. It was awesome meeting a fellow sports fan, book lover, musician. Hope we run into each other again. This makes your exit feel more personal and memorable, increasing the chances of a future connection. A well-executed goodbye is just as powerful as a strong introduction. It leaves the other person feeling good about the interaction, making them more likely to remember you in a positive light. The biggest mistake people make? Dragging out a conversation longer than it needs to be because they're afraid of ending it awkwardly. But when you recognize natural stopping points, use polite exit lines, and leave with warm, confident energy, exiting a conversation becomes smooth and effortless. Now that you know how to start, maintain, and end conversations naturally, there's one last thing that will take your social skills to the next level. By now, you've learned everything you need to confidently talk to anyone, anywhere. Whether it's a casual chat with a stranger, a conversation with a coworker, or even an important networking interaction, you now have the tools to start, maintain, and end conversations smoothly, without awkwardness or stress. Let's do a quick recap of the key takeaways. 1. The foundation. Confidence and mindset. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build by acting confident first. People aren't judging you nearly as much as you think. The spotlight effect makes us believe we're being analyzed, but in reality, most people are too busy worrying about themselves. Self-talk and visualization train your brain to feel comfortable in conversations. If you tell yourself you're confident and act the part, your brain follows. 2. First impressions, body language and energy. Your body speaks before your words do. Good eye contact, an open posture, and a genuine smile make you instantly more approachable. Subtly matching the other person's energy helps build rapport. Just don't overdo it. Avoid nervous habits like fidgeting, looking at your phone, or crossing your arms, as they make you appear closed off or anxious. 3. The art of starting a conversation. You don't need the perfect icebreaker. Simple greetings work wonders. Use observational comments, e.g., "That coffee smells amazing. Where'd you get it?" to make starting conversations feel natural. A well-placed compliment can open up an entire discussion. Just make it specific and follow it with a question. Tone matters. A warm and friendly tone makes even basic conversation starters feel inviting. 4. Keeping the conversation going. Open-ended questions, e.g., "What's been the best part of your day?" Encourage storytelling and prevent dead-end responses. The FORD method, family, occupation, recreation, dreams, helps you find topics people enjoy talking about. Follow the 70-30 rule. Listen 70% of the time and talk 30%. People love feeling heard. Mirroring, subtly matching their tone, energy, and pace, builds natural connection. 5. Avoiding awkward silences. Silences are normal. They only feel awkward if you make them awkward. Have go-to topics ready like current events, hobbies, or pop culture. Humor and lighthearted comments can break tension and reset the vibe. A great fallback. By the way, I have to ask, what's something cool you've done recently? 6. Ending conversations. Smoothly. Recognize natural ending points instead of dragging out the conversation. Use polite exit lines like, "I'll let you get back to your day, but it was awesome meeting you." If appropriate, exchange social media or contact info to keep the connection going. Leave with positive energy and a lasting impression, so people remember you in a good light. At this point, you're equipped with everything you need to confidently talk to anyone, in any situation. The more you practice these techniques, the easier and more natural they'll feel. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more practical social tips. I'm always sharing strategies to help you feel more confident in conversations, make new connections, and improve your social skills. And now, I want to hear from you. What's your biggest challenge when talking to people? Is it starting conversations, keeping them going, or avoiding awkward silences? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, go out there and start talking to people.